Hello everybody, welcome back to Jordan Talks Football. We've got big breaking updates again surrounding Liverpool's pursuit of Diomande. Things are starting to heat up as Liverpool are preparing a massive €120 million bid for Yan Diomande, as we've seen from reports from Bild and many other big reputable sources in Germany, Sky Sports Germany, also mentioning Liverpool are coming back in for a second bid. We've obviously known this for a while as Liverpool fans. Liverpool will be coming back in for a £100 million bid, which is around £90 million up front and around £10 or £15 million of add-ons, which takes us up towards Leipzig's price tag. Personal terms have been agreed. The player wants the move this summer. And according to basically everyone, things are basically done in terms of the deal. But Leipzig are now being reported that they will probably refuse this offer and they want more money now. Yan Diomande has reportedly told Leipzig that he wants to leave officially now as well. Like I said, Bild and Sky Sports Germany today reporting Leipzig would consider the offer, but they're still holding out for more money than Liverpool are going to offer. And we've also seen reports that Liverpool may not submit a third bid if this bid is rejected. It will be £90 million up front and £10 or £15 million of add-ons if we win trophies, etc. and get the Champions League next year. In a similar way to the Wirtz deal, where we paid around £100 million up front and the £20 million of add-ons will be confirmed if we win certain trophies, which obviously we didn't last season. So, lots to get into today surrounding this Diomande deal as things are hotting up again today. Loads of new information coming out from both sides in terms of Liverpool thinking that they're very, very confident of getting the deal done, but Leipzig are playing hardball again. As we've said for weeks now, the deal is essentially done. The player wants the move. Personal terms have been agreed. Liverpool are going to offer him 150, 200 grand a week. He wants to come to Liverpool. He's told his agent now that he wants to leave. He's told Leipzig officially that he wants to leave, and he's getting more and more disillusioned every single day that goes by, that Leipzig are basically playing hardball and are desperately trying to keep him by keeping the price ridiculously high. Obviously, we know Leipzig are holding out for €130 million, and they want pretty much all of it up front as well, which is obviously a crazy sum. And in reality, Liverpool are going to have to offer probably £100 million up front with £10 million of add-ons or maybe £15 million of add-ons to get Diomande over the line, according to Leipzig's valuation, which is obviously an absolutely insanely large sum for a player that only scored 12 goals and 8 assists last season and only had one major breakout season at the top level. Obviously, he looks like an incredible talent, and I will agree with whatever Liverpool decide to do in terms of if they do decide to just pay the money and get it over the line. We know he's been our top target for the entirety of the window, and he is the ideal Mo Salah replacement according to our team of analysts. He obviously looks like an incredible player. He can play left wing and right wing, and he looks explosive, incredibly physically empowered, overpowering defenders, running past them like they aren't there. We saw what he did to Hincapie. He basically had him on life support when he played against Ecuador. In reality, he looks like a really top talent, and we know that Iraola loves these young players. He brings them in and develops them and turns them into absolute superstars. We saw Bournemouth the past 3 years. Semenyo and Ryan and Krupi are the ones that spring to mind for me particularly, bringing in these young players that no one really knew about at all before and turn them into absolute superstars. We obviously know Semenyo turned into a very good player, and I think Diomande a very similar profile to Semenyo in terms of that direct inside forward kind of winger, not necessarily super tricky, but still good at dribbling, but in reality just a very fast direct winger that can cause big problems. Diomande very similar to that. We've also seen Ryan performing really well for Brazil last night. Looks like a proper good player, he does. And again, very similar inside forward, not necessarily a tricky winger, but a very similar profile again to Diomande. And it's clear that Iraola has been targeting these kinds of players this summer. Munoz, again, he's like a incredibly fast, physically imposing, very, very quick and physically overpowering in terms of defensive and offensive work rate. A player that is, I think he's 22 or 23, that again Iraola can work with. Incredibly physically impressive, very fast, good on the ball, good at dribbling. Diomande similar, Barcola similar. We've also been linked today with Minte from Brighton as another option if the Diomande deal doesn't go through, or even if it does, Minte for 40 million I think would be a nice piece of business as another forward option for Iraola. I would say bringing in 3 or 4 new forwards for Liverpool, it's going to give Iraola some great options going forward. And I really do feel like Iraola is the kind of manager that would bring players like that in and get the most out of them. And having as many options for him as possible, I think, is a really, really great way of going about things. But we have seen that Leipzig are playing hardball on this Diomande fee, and they're basically saying no to everything. It looks like this 120 million euro bid that Liverpool are really confident of getting the deal done with, looks like Leipzig are going to reject it again, according to reports. They've been made aware that Liverpool are preparing this 120 million euro bid, according to Bild and to Sky Sports Germany, but apparently they are going to reject it if it does come in at that level, and they want the 130 million euro fee. Not only that, which is 10 million euros more than what Liverpool are reportedly going to offer, but they're also holding out for more of the fee up front as well. As we know, Liverpool came in with a bid of around £70 million and £20 million of add-ons for the first bid, around 100 million euros, which got rejected straight away by Leipzig because there was nowhere near enough money up front, and really about 30 or 40 million euros away from the valuation that they wanted of upfront fees. And it looks as though now Liverpool are coming back in with 90 million upfront and 10 or 15 million in pounds worth of add-ons, which obviously takes us up towards 120 million euros. But it looks as though, according to reports, Leipzig are continuing to play hardball. They don't want to sell. They want Diomande to stay for another year, sign a new deal, and they're not going to consider any offers unless it reaches 130 million euros. So, in reality, we're in a situation where Liverpool want Diomande. Diomande wants Liverpool. This has been the case for weeks now, as I've been continuously saying and reporting from all these journalists. But in reality, Leipzig are just basically saying we're not selling him. And unless Liverpool go in with that massive valuation, they're not going to consider selling him. And Diomande is getting annoyed. According to reports over the past few days, as we've seen, Diomande is getting increasingly frustrated and annoyed that Leipzig aren't agreeing a fee and letting him go to Liverpool. He's agreed terms with Liverpool. He's got that package on the table. He's going to get 200 grand a week, according to reports, at Liverpool on like a 5-year deal. He's going to come into the team in that right-wing position. He's got a tailor-made spot in the first team. He's going to be in the Champions League playing for Liverpool. Massive club. Obviously a big step up in terms of moving from Leipzig to Liverpool. The sporting and the financial prospect next season for him will be excellent. He'll be playing every game on that wing under Iraola. Incredibly fast, physically interesting, good football at Anfield, Champions League, and he's going to get 200 grand a week at 19. All of it's been agreed. He's very happy with the prospect of coming to Liverpool, and he wants it to get done. All the reports are showing us that Diomande wants to come to Liverpool. It's all but agreed, but Leipzig are continuing to hold out for more and more money and are basically stalling the deal and trying to stall the deal for as long as possible, because I think as well, according to reports, the longer the World Cup goes on, they're going to keep increasing his valuation as he is looking better and better in the World Cup as well. So Leipzig are basically playing silly buggers right now with Liverpool. Diomande's getting annoyed. He wants to move. Liverpool want him. Diomande wants Liverpool, but Leipzig are basically holding him hostage right now for a giant fee and are refusing to let him go currently unless Liverpool come in and match that offer. So it's all going to come down to what happens once Liverpool go in with this second bid, which is likely to come in over the next few days. Obviously, Diomande and the Ivory Coast are playing today. So in reality, or it's today or, tomorrow morning, some point in the next 24 hours, Diomande will be playing with the Ivory Coast, and I'd expect the bid to go in probably after that match or very close to that time. And in reality, I can imagine the situation. Liverpool are going to put the bid in of around 120 million euros, and it's how Leipzig respond. If they just flat out disagree and say no straight away, Liverpool may give up and move on to other targets, according to some other reports. But if Leipzig start to negotiate at that price, we could see the situation where finally we get the dialogue open and we can just agree like the 5 million here and there in the middle. That needs to be done to get Diomande to the club. Alternatively, If Diomande goes on strike and says, I want to move this summer, why are you blocking my move to Liverpool? Lower the price so that I can go. I'm not going to play for you next season no matter what happens, even if you hold me hostage. They may end up lowering their price and letting him leave anyway. Because in reality, they bought him for 15 million last year and they are going to get at least 5 or 6 times their money. Maybe close to 10 times their money for what they bought him for. It's a no-brainer in terms of business. I know they want to keep him because obviously they're in the Champions League and they want to keep their best players for that. But in reality, the situation is he wants to come to Liverpool and right now he's being held hostage. So as always, guys, get your comments in down below. Fascinating updates today surrounding Diomande. He wants to leave, but Leipzig are holding him hostage right now for a huge fee. Do you think that Liverpool will get him? Let me know down below in the comments. Become a member to support the channel as well. I very much appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe, do the YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.